Hello everyone, this is newsletter number 2 for the spring 2023 sale. If you have registered since last Wednesday, you did not get seller newsletter number 1, and it will be at the bottom of the email that you got from me. And that video is also on our YouTube channel, so you can make sure you have all the information from that one as well. So let's go through some things. So one common question that we get is, how can I make it more likely for my items to sell? Okay, so you are putting in the work to get your items there. Obviously you want them to sell. So I'm going to give you some tips. I will tell you, everyone has different experiences. Sometimes we're surprised by the things that do or do not sell. So there's no hard and fast rules, but we can just kind of tell you what our experience has taught us. Big one, clean equals green. Okay, so items that are clean and in a good presentation condition are much more likely to sell. Okay, even if something is in good shape but just dirty, it's not as likely to sell. These are parents looking for items for their children. They want something that's going to be clean and in good condition. And so take the time, scrub it, use stain remover. Sun can be a great way to get rid of staining on different things. It's really good on like spit up stains, things like that. So try sunning it. I have a post linked in the newsletter that's got some different tips on how to get some stains out, but definitely make sure you take the time, clean, get into nooks and crannies, make sure that item is clean. I know that's hard sometimes, especially for like outdoor toys. Even those, you want to bring them clean. I know maybe they are parked out in your yard and might be kind of dirty, but take the time to get them hosed down and scrubbed down, okay? If an item is really dirty, we will pull it from the floor. It's just not right for our sale if it is not clean. So please make sure you are cleaning those before you bring them. People want to know items work. So if your item is electronic, make sure to put batteries in them. You can grab cheap ones from the Dollar Tree or Dollar General. Just something so that people can see, yes, this item works. So make sure you do that. And then of course, just figure that into what you price it. Okay, so we always say the really great thing about our sale is that you get to price your items. And one of the hardest things about selling on our sale is you get to price our items. Okay, so I know it can feel a little overwhelming when you're new, especially if you have not shopped our sale previously. I link a guide in that email that will help give you kind of a starting off point. For example, larger items, we usually say start at about 30% of retail and then go up or down depending on condition, demand, things like that. Think about what somebody might want to pay for a used condition of that item, okay? Really try to pull any sentimentality away from it. I know it's so hard when you're looking at things that your children loved to put a completely objective value on it, but just try to think, what would you pay for this item if you did not have those attachments to it? Keep in mind, people come to our sale looking for a deal. So if you want that item to sell, you got to price it to sell, okay? Packing. People want to see what they're buying. A big thing is with things like bedding. People are going to want to be able to see all the different parts. Okay, toys with lots of pieces. They want to see the parts as much as possible. If you have a situation where you can't show it all, for example, bedding, it's really hard to show all the pieces. We have people who will print off stock photos of the item and put it onto the package. That is absolutely allowed. You can also list all the items that are included. Absolutely allowed. Just think about displaying it in a way that people can see everything. When you're packaging things like clothing in bags, when your cloth diapers is one that comes to mind, people are going to want to inspect those. So keep that in mind with the way you package them. If they're not able to get into the package, they're going to have to be buying them sight unseen, and they're much less likely to buy them. So if people cannot inspect the items, they're just going to pass. So try to pack it in a way that you can see it. There is a link to a video where I went around one of our sales and showed some different ideas for how to package things. So definitely watch that for ideas. Our seller Facebook group is a great place to get ideas for this. So if you're needing tips on how to do that, definitely check that out. Puzzles, make sure you don't put tape over the top of them. I know that seems like a good way to do it, but it's going to rip up the picture on the puzzle and you're just going to have a bummed out shopper. Wrapping it in saran wrap works really well. That's my favorite way to do like board puzzles. So let's see, I think that's all of that. Also keep in mind, some categories are just tough sells, okay? we have a lot of clothing come in. So you are gonna need to think about pricing that clothing competitively, okay? I don't have other things coming to mind right now, but just thinking about some categories are just easier to sell than others, and just try to price competitively, price in a price that you would be willing to pay for that item. With that video I mentioned before, and there's another video on the website, make sure that you do have your items tagged and packaged appropriately. We do have a somewhat uniform way that things need done, specifically clothing has to be done the same way or we're going to pull it from the floor. Different things, they need to be packaged in a uniform way. That makes our sale shoppable. And for things like clothing, if they can't see the tag, they're going to skip right over that item. They're not going to buy it. So please, please, please take the time and make sure you do understand the way that items are supposed to be tagged. I have pictures on the website. I have a video on the website. Please double check with me if you are not confident. Okay. Appointments. Every seller needs a drop-off appointment. This will be the time that you will check in and start unloading and putting away your items. If you are not planning to donate all unsold items, you will also need a pickup appointment. Okay, so make sure that you have one or both of those, depending on what's appropriate. When you make that drop-off appointment, just keep in mind that you want to allow yourself, we do require at our sale that you put your items out onto the sales floor. That might sound overwhelming if you're a new seller, but I promise it's super easy. The floor will be very well labeled. We'll have volunteers there to help you put things away. It's easy. Most sellers, I would say the average time it takes is 30 to 45 minutes. If you don't have a ton of items, it won't take you near that long. If you have a ton of items, you're going to spend longer. So just keep that in mind. But the drop-off appointment is going to be the time you're checking in with us. Okay, so if you need longer, totally fine. If you have an absolutely massive amount of items and you think you are going to need to make 2 trips, go ahead and make 2 drop-off appointments. That's totally fine. Okay, so if you've been tagging, you notice there's an option to mark donate. And if you're curious what that's about and you haven't seen that on the website, so one of the things we offer at our sale is if your item does not sell, so your item is going to be put, an item marked for a donation is going to get put on the sales floor exactly the same as all of our other items. If it's marked for donation, that means that at the end of the sale, if that item is not sold, it's going to be sorted out and go to be donated to area nonprofits and families and things like that. So the way donation works at our sale, first we have what's called the after sale party. So we have different organizations around town that we work with, and we give them invitations to send to families that they work with who are in need, and they are able to come shop for free from that sale and get the items that their families need. We're really, really, really proud of this. We're so grateful to all of our sellers who do allow items to be donated, because these families are able to come shop without it costing them any money, and pick out the items for their kids that they need, which is really special. After the donation party, anything that is left over gets picked up by Judy from Toys for Manhattan, because she is amazing. So she picks everything up, and then she keeps, obviously, toys, books, things like that. Sometimes if she runs across something that she is not going to use for Toys for Manhattan, she distributes it to other area organizations. We do not take things to Goodwill. We only work with area organizations. It's super important to us that those donations are remaining local. So that is where those go. What was I going to say? Okay, I think that's it. So if you have any questions about that, let me know. And with donation, you don't have to choose all or none. If you have a lot of your items that you do not want to see again, mark them for a donation. If you've got those couple of items you want to get back if they don't sell, mark those as not for donation. You can pick and choose each item, which is kind of cool. All right, one final thing is that volunteer registration opens Saturday at 9 a.m. Volunteer shop before sellers. So if you want to be able to get first crack at those items, volunteer for the sale. And then you will be able to share your seller's pass with somebody else. You can give it to a friend, give it to a family member, whoever. If we have a well-staffed sale, it makes items easier to sell. And it's also a really good learning experience, especially if you're a new seller, because you'll get to see how other people have packaged their items. You'll get to see kind of how the flow of the sale works. I honestly cannot tell you how many times I've heard somebody volunteer who has sold in the past say, oh, I wish I had done this sooner. Because once you volunteer, a lot of things will make sense that will help you as a seller. So definitely check that out. You can actually just sign up to volunteer in your seller workstation, so you don't have to create a second account or anything like that. Okay, forgive me for sounding kind of out of breath. I think I've got some congestion starting, and so I am a little out of breath. All right, I think that covers everything for seller newsletter number 2. Thank you so much for all your hard work. We're already seeing lots of items pouring in. Make sure to get those high importance items in first, the large items, the high dollar items, the things that you are going to be super bummed if you don't get to bring the sale. Enter those right now, even if you've got nothing else entered. That way you know you've gotten those in before the deadline. All right. Thank you. Please let us know if you have any questions.